What we're gonna start off with is basically typing in like a navigation stack. And we'll add this a navigation stack in because basically we want to give like a title, like a navigation title. Yeah, that's what I mean. But if you're not used to this, just check out my other video then. And then we add a V stack inside the navigation stack. And then right under this, we'll add a new modifier. So we'll add like someone called navigation title. And basically a modifier like these where you put like that and then the name of the modifier is just a way how you can like add like a special ability, new abilities your view. So this one, it requires some text since I want a title, and since I'm matching it to my TikTok profile, I'm just going to put Nerdy Yachty here. And then if you look on the preview, you see that we see Nerdy Yachty appears at the top. But on TikTok, it's not big like this. It's actually like a small one in the center. To get that, all you have to do is just add a new modifier. And the modifier for this is dot navigation bar title display mode. So you just hit enter once you reach there. And then for what it's asking for here, just put dot and then pick the inline version. And then you're going to notice that the preview updates and you see like a smaller version to Nerdy Yachty. All right, so this will look good. The next thing I'm gonna profile, you just see, I like the image, right? So one thing to note is that like that image doesn't come inside Xcode, so you have to add it in. So what we have to do is let's just minimize Xcode for a second. And then we're gonna open up assets right here. And then I'm gonna go over to where I have my image, right? And then I'm gonna click on it and then just drag it into this portion for assets. And then I'll just maximize Xcode again. And then I jump back over to content view where it's like most of the meat are gone. And then over here now, I'll start by typing in image. And then you can just do dot and then it will be like Nerdy Yachty. So I'll hit this one right here. And then if I leave this just as this, you'll see that the preview give me this gigantic picture. We don't want it that big. So what we're gonna do is add a new modifier. And we're just gonna say dot resizable. And I'll hide this portion so you can see more of the screen. And you see it says resizable and you see the image get a little bit smaller, but this is still too big for me. So I'm gonna type in a new modifier and this is gonna help with sizing the image. It's called the frame modifier and I want the one that takes a width and a height. And the width and the height, let's just make them 100 each. And then you're gonna notice that the image kind of shrink. Now it kind of look somewhat like on TikTok, but not exactly there yet. So what we're gonna do is let's give it the circular shape, and to do that, we just add a new modifier. So where this one is gonna call dot clip shape, and then basically you just type in what you want the shape to be like, what you want the image shape to be like. So for this we want circle. And then when the preview loads, you'll see that, we get the image just like that, it's circle. The only thing is you might be noticing is like, why is the image all the way down here? To push up like any view to the top, like you want to push it up, all you have to do is add a new view. And this is going to call a spacer. So I'll put spacer here. And then you're going to see how I put in spacer and it kind of just shoots our image right up to the top. But I don't like how close my image is to our navigation title. So forgive some space, we have to add something called padding. And again, you guess it, it's just a modifier that. So I'll shrink this a little bit so you can see more. And then right below clip shape, I'm just gonna do dot padding and add the padding modifier. And then, well, I want the padding to the top, so I'll say dot top in here. And you see the image kind of push down a little bit more. So this will look pretty decent. And then pretty much a couple more things. But the next thing I want to do is basically add like my text, like the name, like my at under it. So it's like text. And then, it's just like at Nerdy Yachty. And then you see the text right here. On TikTok, it's a bit more bold. So if we want to add that boldness, we just come down here and you already know it. We just add a new modifier and this is going to be font weight. And then we just type in that font weight and then we pick how bold we want it. For now, I'm thinking that we could make this like maybe medium. Let's see how this looks. And yeah, that kind of look pretty similar to what we have on TikTok. So we'll leave that as is. But one thing to note is this isn't just text on the TikTok app, it's actually a button. So what we can do to make it more similar to that is let's put this text as a button. So let's just Command X and cut it for a second. And then we're going to type in button. And then go down to this one that uses an action and a label. Hit enter. And then just hit enter again. And then you're going to see it asking for these code blocks. Delete this first one. And then for the label one right here, just paste back what we had, the text that we had. Now you see it up here, and you can click on it, yeah, but the text not supposed to be blue. So to fix this, all we have to do is add a new modifier to our button. So the modifier we need is one called button style. So let's go here and then go down to where it says button style and then hit dot, and then you have all these different styles of buttons, and then just hit plain. And then if you look at it, you'll see that now it goes back to this black color, but you can still click on it. So this will look good so far. One thing that I missed and you might have noticed is that there's usually like a plus sign here. So make we add that in and make it look even better. So because the plus is like on top of this image, one thing that we can do is instead of using a V stack or a H stack, we're going to use something called a Z stack. So how this work is, like if in the Z stack here, right, anything that's below, like, so say if I take our image and I put this in the V stack right here, right, you're gonna see it show fine, but anything that I put below it, below our image in this Z stack, will show on top of our image. So say if I added the similar icon that they have, so image, to get that image that they have, we'll do like image system name, and the name of an image that they give us that's really similar is plus.circle.fill. And now right away you see this little circle appear, but it's appearing like in the center, which is not what we want. So that's kind of, but that just like an example of how Z stack works. So any view that you put at the very bottom most will be on top of the previous view. So now let's fix this. So I don't want it in the center of my face. So I'm gonna fix it so that it goes to the bottom right, right? So to do that, all we have to do is go up to our Z stack, right? And then we're gonna add it where it accepts its parameters, typing alignment. And then we'll type something like bottom trailing. Them say trailing, but trailing just means bottom right. You know what I mean? Nothing too crazy. And then for the image now, we still see that, yeah, we'll have it, but one, it's the wrong color and it's too small. So to fix that, we already know with images, the first thing we have to do is make it resizable. So we make it resizable now, and then it's just way too big. So to fix this, you already know, type in frame, width, and the height. And we're gonna make it that it's just 30. And now we see basically our image right here, our plus button kind of right there. Still some more work to do, but you get the idea. The one thing I'm noticing, and you might have noticed already, is that, well, the color is off. Why is it black? It's not supposed to be black. So let's add the color that it is. So it's type foreground style. And I'm not sure the exact color Twitter is using, so I'll just go with mint. And you'll see that our button now changes to that mintish color, and it's coming along, it's almost there. We just have to do some more work, right? All right, so now the next thing is, you might notice that basically we can see through our icon, and you can't see through the one on TikTok. So to fix this, what we are going to do is basically add like a kind of white background behind it to kind of block out that transparent feature. So we'll go down to background, and then in background, I'm going to type in color.white. And I know it looked like a square now, but we're going to fix that. But bear in mind, we did get rid of that see-through portion where you could just see through the image. So now to fix the shape of it, we're going to add something called clip shape, which we did before. And we're going to literally do like dot clip shape. And then we're going to put in circle. And then boom, just like that, we kind of have what we're looking for. So we can't see through the plus sign here anymore, but we don't have that border around it. So let's add the border around it, and then let's go. So to add the border around it, we're gonna add some color overlay now. So we're gonna say dot overlay, hit the first one, hit enter, and then we can just be like circle, right? And then we'll say dot stroke, and then take the one that takes both a content and a line width right here. Scroll down, and then for the content, what I'm going to put here is basically just the color that we want it, right? Like the border around it. And then for the width, I would say like how thick we want it. We want it about like 2. And then now you see we get that kind of white border around the button, and it's still not transparent. So this will look okay so far. So before we kind of jump to part 2, let's see if we can add in like that menu bar button, right? So to do that, what we have to do is basically at the end of like our V stack at this curly braces, like the other end, we could just scroll down here, and then right at the bottom here under navigation bar title display mode, we're gonna add something called a dot toolbar, and then we'll just be like content, hit that, right? And then inside here we're gonna put a button, and then we'll pick again the one that takes an action and a label, hit enter, and then get rid of the first code block right there, just press delete. And then for the label, just press delete for now. Now for the image, what we're gonna do is type in like image, and then we're gonna go to the one that takes a system name so that we can use the system images provided by Apple, and we're just gonna type in the name of that system image. So the name of the one with those lines similar to TikTok is called line 3 horizontal. So I'll just paste that in here, and now right away you see the button appears right here. You can click on it, but again it's blue and it's not supposed to be blue. We know it's supposed to be black. So to fix this is basically add a new modifier to the button. Cause remember, it's because it's a button why it's giving it that extra blue. So what we're gonna do is go down here and again just hit dot and then go to button style and then just hit plain. And then when it loads or preview loads, you'll see that now we have that button that is tappable. So now this is the start of how we build our mini TikTok profile. Stick around, and then in the next segment, we'll handle the next pieces of the UI, such as the followers and the buttons and so forth. So again, the motto is remember, anyone can learn anything with time, practice, and failures. All right, I'm out.